Hello creatives, welcome to my channel and the 12 designs of Christmas. Now I have done a few of these already. I have a whole playlist on my channel. I will link it in the description if you want to see every single video. What the 12 designs of Christmas is basically 12 designs over the course of December leading up to Christmas, and the 12 designs are literally anything. I usually have a theme. I've done it for the past few years. This year's theme is Across Time, which is the last 12 decades leading up to this one. So I have done, I think, up to 1930. Yeah, so today we're in the 1940s, and the 1940s is pretty much wartime. Very simplistic items. Everyone around the Christmas season wanted very gender-specific items, like girls wanted dolls and like clothes, but it was a very financially struggling time, and boys wanted, you know, like weapons and toy trucks and like little soldiers and such like that. So I thought it would be fun to kind of bring a little bit of the simplicity of the toys during this time period to a little Santa's workshop scene that I'm going to do here in Illustrator on the iPad, because it's Christmas time and I kind of want to keep it nice and light. Not so dark, especially during times like the 1940s when it was basically all war. So that is what we are going to create here. And I hope you guys are enjoying all of this historical graphic design knowledge, because there's quite a bit throughout the decades. If you are enjoying it, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you have not already. I know I have a lot of new subscribers. Thank you. I really appreciate it. By the way, my name is Angela. I'm an illustrator and a graphic designer. So I'm going to take you through a little bit more of art history and design history while we illustrate our Santa's Workshop Christmas scene from the 1940s. During this time, I'm going to just create a few layers while I'm here. I'm thinking maybe doing a very simple doll and some wooden toys would probably be the most, I want to say the most accurate of the time period, because a lot of the metalworks and stuff like that were being used for the war. So I'm going to do a nice cutesy little background, I think, something very simple. I'm probably going to do it like wood. So let's choose a background color. Santa's Workshop is always going to be a bit of an exception. However, this is just kind of what I'm thinking for the workshop itself. I am using a poster-sized artboard today, so that is what is here. And I do enjoy doing all of these on the iPad. It allows me to use a lot of the new tools and a lot of the new features. If you have not seen that video, I did post that before the December month. I will have that linked somewhere on the screen for you. Now for this, like, I know Santa's very magical and he can pretty much make whatever he wants. However, I do want to make it a little bit more towards the time period. So instead of having like a machine with an electric conveyor belt, I'm just going to do tables. So I'm wondering if instead of this being this color, maybe I should make it, so I think I'm just going to make this white, but maybe not so bright white, maybe more like an off-white, like that. And then we're going to make the tables that light oak color. So this is the background. It's always handy to make sure that you label and name your layers as you go so you don't get lost. This is going to be tables. And I just thought it would be fun to do like a nice little scene for Santa Claus making all of his toys, especially because it was so important during this time period, because there wasn't a lot of stuff going around and toys were really important to kids back then. I mean, yeah, they were pretty much more focused on all the adult things going on, but you know, kids are kids and they still want their toys, especially during Christmas time, you know? Alright, so I'm going to make some tables here. As far as perspective goes, I kind of want it to be slightly overhead, but not quite. So I'm going to make the tables a little bit like so. During this time period, there were a lot of fonts being created, and I am going to use a font here. Like, I know I've been using fonts in like everything, but I'm going to be using a really nice font. Most of the fonts that were during this time period were still coming off of the 1930s and the 1920s, so you still had some of those kind of ornate fonts, but a lot of it was going more like geometric and bold. So we're going to do something that's a little bit more bold, I feel like. Perspective might be slightly off with this. Let's pull that in. There we go. All right. I'm going to lock the background just to save myself some aggravation. All right, we have the beginnings of a table. I did not do the legs of the table, so let me do that in this darker wood. Now the art around this time, there wasn't so much as far as like illustration per se. It was all focused around war, so a lot of propaganda was being showcased, a lot of like graphic style was being showcased, a lot of typography was being showcased, but I wanted to do something a little bit less intense for this. And just duplicate. Whenever you can save yourself time, especially during illustration, definitely save yourself the time by going through and duplicating things, because especially if it's the same shape, you don't want to take up a lot of your time. So it's just best just to duplicate things whenever possible. If any of you have not looked at the new items and the new features in Illustrator, there is rulers in the precision icon underneath the properties panel. You can turn those on and then just tap and drag and pull some guides down so you can make sure that your designs are lined up properly. If you open the layers panel and tap on the layer, everything within that layer is going to be selected, so it's super easy and quick to have everything selected at the same time. And then you can group those items together. There we go. And then I'm just going to duplicate them. All right, so let's start with some decor. Now the decor during this time period was very, very simple. So it's not going to be anything too ornate. It's just going to be nice and simplistic. So I think for the decor, I'm just going to make a new layer and drag it underneath the tables. It's going to be in the background. There we go. And we're going to make some garlands. Now the garlands, I think I'm going to use the circle here. I'm just going to duplicate that shape, and then I'm going to use our shape builder tool to shape build this away. There we go. Now this of course is not what a garland looks like, so we're going to add some points to it and make it really look like a garland. This is also not the color. This is the color, and it's going to be really nice and simplistic. Everything is going to be simplistic. I'm going to add some points here. I'm wondering if it might even be easier to use the star. Yeah. You know what? Let's just do the star. The star seems to be working out well for what a garland would look like. Now we have a garland, and we're just going to put it up here, and then duplicate, flip it, bring it over here. There we go. Before we get any further into this, I did mention that there were some typefaces that were very popular during this time period. So typefaces like Romeo, even Gothic was, the Gothic font family was coming into popularity, as well as some of the ITC font families. And there was also Garamond, kind of. There was a few, especially with like Figaro, and brush script was also coming into light during this time as well. So I have a few of them down here, and I wanted to use them. I wasn't sure which one I wanted to go with. So let's see about this. I have this one here. And this is the typeface Basic Gothic Pro. I couldn't find the original Gothic family of fonts, so this may be a new version. However, it's very simplistic. We could do something like this, where it's like bold, and we can even make it probably bolder. Let me see. That's the medium version. So it's Basic Gothic Pro Black. This is very reminiscent of the time period. They had lots of bold, striking fonts, especially like on posters and stuff like that everywhere. We can either go this route, or we can even use this brush script I found, brush script standard and medium. We can even go this route to make it a bit more fun, a little bit more classical, a little bit more whimsical. I kind of like the brush script going on here, even though I know that this is probably more appropriate. I really like the brush script. So I may do that just because it's more whimsical and it kind of goes a bit more with the whole idea of the scene that we're creating here. Now, a lot of the typography during this time, it was very bold. It didn't have any strokes on them. They used contrasting colors to kind of like make fonts stand out. So I may just take this and pull it up to about, let's see, I'll see about the background, because with yellow the opposing color is blue. So we'll see about this. Maybe I can choose the background, and instead of it being white, maybe I can do like a nice like dull light blue, a desaturated light blue, or desaturated navy. And then for the garland, I think I'm going to do a few gradients. Now, they didn't use a lot of gradients during this time period, however they did use a little bit. It kind of looked like they were using some kind of like textured brushing effect on some of the pieces that they had. So I'm going to kind of do like a little bit of gradient to make it look a little bit like that. So let's choose our garland. Let's choose gradients. I'm just going to do a very, very simple gradient and make it look like there's some light coming through here. Now I wonder for this, I wonder if I can make it more saturated and brighter. And a lot of the font during that time, especially the typefaces, they were always like on angles, kind of like something like that. And I can even take this and make the, and they're called initial caps. I can make the initial caps, which is the first letter, much bigger. And now for the toys. I'm going to do like a red truck, and I'm going to do like a really simple doll and such like that. So we're going to have like boys and girls happening here. I'm going to start with the boys' truck. Why don't they have it to where you can change the stacking order with multiple items in the quick selection menu? Can that be a thing that happens in Illustrator, please? Now, I didn't want to do too much with like gradients at all. It's still coming off the 1930s where everything was like flat illustration. Nothing was really super ornate at all. So I didn't really want to go down that route of having all of the gradients like flying out everywhere, because that just wasn't there during this time, especially in design illustration period. It really wasn't there. So I'm just going to keep it simple. Alright, there is our little truck. and then we can do multiples. So let me select everything here. Use our selection tool here. Group it all together. And I'm just going to make duplicates because, you know, Santa always likes to make the same toy multiple times over. So now we have a whole table full of trucks. So you have red trucks and then I guess maybe green trucks. We'll see. I think green trucks would be good. Tap on the layer to select all of them. I'm going to duplicate all of them, bring them over here to this table. Save ourselves a whole bunch of time. I'm going to make all of these green. Double tap in to select a shape that is grouped together and you can select that. Select all those, delete them, choose the little green truck, and we're just going to multiply him and put him literally everywhere on this table. Got some toy trucks. And now we're going to do the dolls. Make it really kind of cutesy and a little bit girly. Now the dolls looked very different during that time, so they're not going to be like Barbie, even though Barbie I think was created in 1947. The version of Barbie that we recognize, I think. I'm not entirely sure. I have to look that up. But it's not going to look like Barbie. Let's just say that. Alright, I'm going to do a new layer. And let's do some dolls. I'm going to make our doll's face, followed by very, very simplistic shapes. But then we have her body, which I'm going to symbolize as a triangle. And let's see, I kind of want to make her dress look really cute. They generally either had like solid colors, stripes, or flowers on the clothing as far as I'm aware. So let's see about a solid color. I don't want to be so traditional as to like put pink on her. So let's do, shall we put her in a gold dress? Or should we put her in a nice navy dress? Let's try navy. Let's try a cool, beautiful navy dress. And we'll give her some little accented pieces on her dress. There we go. So this is probably looking very 1930s at this point, but I am going to make a little bit of modification to this because this is a doll. The edges are going to be pretty soft because they really liked kind of like, I wouldn't say A-line dresses, but they were kind of like A-line dresses, if you know what I mean. For flipping objects, especially if you're duplicating a lot, it's under this bar graph icon, under the scissors icon on the right toolbar, and there's a flip section down here where you can flip it vertically or horizontally. I think I might do some frills in silver. Duplicate some ovals to make it look like frills, I think would be probably the best way to go. Simplistic shape for the hair here, and then I'm going to refine it here in just a minute. There we go. There's our little girl doll. And I'm just going to duplicate her whole shape here. I'm going to select everything in the layer. I'm going to group her together. I'm just going to duplicate her across. There we go. We have a table full of dolls. And then I think I'm just going to take all of the dolls and duplicate them, bring them over here, and I think I'll change their dress color and their eye color. Let's see, I think instead of the buttons, I think I'm going to do like a ribbon trim instead, and I'm going to make, and then we'll do like a nice ribbon across and give her like little puff sleeves and such like that. I think that would be really cute. Let's also make her eyes, instead of black, let's make her eyes green because I think her eyes would look really cute if they were green. I just wanted to keep it very simple because there was some plastic works, like plastic dolls, being created during this time. Alright, let's select all the dolls on this table, delete them, and then we'll duplicate this doll. There we go. So now we have all the toys with Santa coming to town from his little workshop. Maybe the floor is a bit too dark. Let's change the floor a little bit. Alright, Santa's coming to town, and then we have all the toys set up, and then we can even do a sleigh over here in the foreground. We can create his sleigh really quickly. I'm gonna make his sleigh red. Sleigh's gonna go off the page. There we go. Santa's sled is ready for the toys and he is coming to town. Now I can add more detailing to the topography, however the topography was very simplistic back then, but I think this came out really good. What do you all think? I hope you all enjoyed this video, learned a little bit about art history at the same time as design history and topography as well. And if you guys like this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe. And I will see you all in my next video for the 1950s. See you soon, creatives.